Hey guys, what is up? This is Yashi here, and today I wanted to bring you a video about gold farming. Now, this is like my 6th take. I've obviously been away for a very long time, and I'm not good at it anymore. I can't even talk now, so there might be a blooper reel at the end. Anyway, getting right into the thick of it. This isn't your standard gold farming video. It's not run-of-the-mill mom and pop, none of that stuff. Today we're going to be dealing exclusively with the auction house. Now, don't be scared. I know some people are kind of scared when you talk about the auction house, but I want to pull you back in with how much money you can make. So the title is at best modest, and what I mean by that is that 30,000 gold an hour is not even that much. You can actually make a lot more than that depending on what you kind of get into. And we're going to get into the beef of it a little bit more a little bit later, but I kind of want to address a few things first. Try to give you a little bit more validity. You can see right here I have about 70k. That's not very much gold to me. I know it's like 10k is a lot of gold to some people. Really, it's all kind of about what you're talking about. Perspective here, but just as you can see, like I like to have like 5,000 on all my tunes. I actually really didn't want to go into all this. I don't know why I'm loading in. I have 9 tunes in Airy Peak. Actually, I have all the numbers, so I've done this like 6 times in a row. There's no point in pretending, right? But I think it's about around 150k between all my servers and about 140k or 110k on Airy Peak. Now, just to kind of just so you have scope of what's going on, I also spent about 100,000 gold on whenever the last season, and I got some 2s carries for my alts, and I got some mounts. My Sky Golem, I think that's what it's called, and the 2-person Drake, whatever that's called. Wanted to get some mounts, so I spent about 100k on that. Anyway, so I spent a lot of gold recently. So about 250k at the end of the expansion. And what I did, and what you guys are going to be doing if you followed this video correctly as well, is you're going to be making all that gold at the beginning of Warlords. I made all that gold in the beginning of Mists of Pandaria 2.5 years ago. I made enough gold to pay for all my repairs, pay for all my alts flying. I had 2 characters that had flying when Mists of Pandaria came out, and now I have 13 90s that all have all the flying, including Mists of Pandaria. So I spent a lot of money over this expansion. I don't even know how much gold I had. I just wanted to farm enough gold so I didn't have to worry about it. Because honestly, I really don't care how much gold I have. But it doesn't mean that I don't have a lot of it. I can tell you how to do it as well. So again, we're going to talk to get into the meat of it a little bit, but not completely just yet. So what the basic purpose of this is going to the auction house. Is people are going to put up items that are cheaper than they should be, and you're going to sell them for more. Now, there's a lot of market fluctuations and some nuanced stuff, and also like new content that really kind of factor into this, and to kind of map through all of that, and I can help you out as much as I can, because I've been successful at it. So that's kind of a general description of it, but I guess I'll talk about why I don't like other gold farming videos at the end. But basically, all the other gold farming videos are go farm this for an hour, like an old raider with marbs or whatever, and then go sell these greens in the auction house. And then it's really not a gold farming video, it's a stuff farming video, and then you have to go make your money on the auction house. Because honestly, the auction house is where all the money is made, and you can take all those people that spend hours farming for their gear, buy their stuff for like 1,000, and make 2,000 or 3,000 on it. So that's what we're going to learn here today. So I'm going to go ahead, and I can't really give you a live demo of this today. There's no way I'm going to, I mean, I know I have a copious amount of gold, but I'm not going to spend any of it because I'm frugal. I'm not going to spend any of it for the sake of this video because now is not a good time to do it. But now don't get my words twisted. It's very soon it will be a good time to do this. So we're going to talk about a couple of things that you're going to need in order to do this successfully. One, you're going to need a little bit of startup gold, and by a little bit I mean about 5 to 10k. I'll talk about how that's easy in a little bit. You're going to need access to the game at regular times and possibly weird times, but it's going to be regular throughout the week. You're going to be limited how much gold you can make per week with how much gold you have, but that's a very snowballed effect. And then also, you're going to need new content to be out. So obviously, this is a really great time to do it. So let's talk about why it's a great time to do it. Obviously, if you need new content coming out, Warlords is just around the corner, right? 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, whenever you're watching this video, maybe 3 days ago, who knows? Maybe 5 months ago, who, I don't know. Anyway, so new content is coming out, and it's going to be a just absolute field day for making gold on the auction house. Now, the other thing that's great about WoD coming out is questing. Questing is a great way to make money. I did level in the beta and alpha. I didn't level all the way from 90 to 100. I hate questing. but and I did make a fair amount of gold. It's not less than we're making now, but I can tell you that when I level from Cataclysm to Mists of Pandaria, I make about 12k on that tune just from questing. So you're going to be making plenty of money, especially if you're leveling more than one tune. Plenty enough just for this. And then what's the other thing? Dedicated access to the game is something that's always going to be tricky. If you're really dedicated to getting gold, this won't be a problem for you at all, especially if you know how to do servers and stuff. So let's talk about that real quick, because it's kind of a weird thing, and I don't want to talk about it ambiguously. I just kind of want to deal with it. So basically, you're going to need to access the game during the resets, because you know, the market fluctuates all the time, right? That's how all markets work. This is a social game, and these are real people in the auction house. This is a real auction house. So the market's going to fluctuate all the time. But the thing that doesn't happen in the real world is the entire world doesn't get reset on Tuesday at 3 a.m. But that happens in WoW, which means that you have a very great time to exploit everybody. So I play on a West Coast server, and I live in the East Coast. And when I made my money back 2.5 years ago, I had a very early job, so this wasn't that hard for me. The Tuesday, so it'd be, if it's the 3 a.m. reset on West Coast, it's 6 a.m. where I live. So I would just go on at like 5:30 and just go on and do this. We'll talk about specific times a little bit later. Or maybe not, who knows. So it was very easy for me to go and do that. But the basic premise is that the beginning of the week, when everyone wants to get their raids done, all the heroic raiders, even all the bads, they just want to get their raids done. So you're going to be buying out you're going to be trying to sell things that are really important to raids, like flasks, gems, and all other kinds of stuff like that. I know gems are kind of going down the hill lately. They're going to be rare in Warlords. We'll kind of see how that goes. But this is still going to be the most efficient way to make money. So again, you want to be with raid interested items, flasks, gems, enchants. You're going to want to be in the market of PvP gear and other crafted gear and stuff like that. Pretty much anything that anyone wants, which is going to be gear and stuff to help you with combat in the beginning of the expansion. So the market is going to fluctuate. There's going to be a huge boon in demand on Tuesday. So demand is when people want stuff, and supply is when you have stuff. So people, all they want to do in the beginning of the week is raid and do whatever they want to do. So there's going to be a huge amount of demand, but there's not going to be that much supply. Here's why. So during the middle of the week, according to WoW's week, is going to be like Friday, Saturday, there's going to be a huge amount of supply, because people have done the things with their friends or whatever, and then after they're done doing that, they're going to go do whatever they're going to do this chores that they have to do, or they're going to do this slowly over time and sell them on the auction house. So you're going to buy stuff, because when the supply is high, the prices go down. When the demand is high, the prices go up. So we're going to buy a bunch of stuff Friday, Saturday, whenever it's cheap, and then we're going to go on and try to sell it as expensive as we can at the beginning of the week. Now, there is also a trick to this. Now, like, you don't, obviously, you're going to need gold to do that. But once you start getting a lot of gold, like 30,000, 50,000, 70,000, they're going to be able to buy out an entire market. Now, this is going to change on the size of your server. It was very easy for me on Area Peak. I could do it with about 20k. So Tuesday morning, I'd wake up at like 5 or 5:30, and you know, an hour or half an hour before reset, and I would buy every single flask in the auction house, every single flask, and then I would sell it at a 300% markup, which means selling it for 3 times more. So that's really going to be the premise of this video. So that's why you need your gold from your leveling. You're going to need dedicated time every week, like Fridays, Tuesdays. And then the other thing is, I guess I'll finish up. And then you're going to need, obviously, new content, because that's when people are going to be rushing to get new gear, and new gear means new gems, new enchants, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Now, the other thing I can say is that not only is everything in high demand because you need gear, but there's also a much higher population when new content releases. So all those people that are coming, these people are coming back from, like, they killed Garrosh like a month after it came out, and then they left the game, and then they're going to come back for this new content or whatever. They're going to want, like, oh, well, now I want stuff. So actually, not only does the demand go up because people want stuff, but the new players coming back want cool stuff. So they're going to want the sky golems. They're going to want all this kind of stuff. They're going to want old stuff like the old farming stuff like Golden Lotus or whatever. And we'll talk about other markets a little bit later. So that's kind of the general theory of how you play the auction house. Now, of course, when you have a huge supply and it doesn't sell, then you want to try to sell it before Friday, before the supply gets high. So you're going to keep trying to sell stuff throughout the week, in the early part of the week. And if you have leftover supply, then just watch what you buy at the end of the week. So there is some more advanced parts of this that I kind of want to get into. So obviously you want to buy when supply is high and demand is low, which is going to be Friday, Saturday. But you also want to buy the entire market out Monday night, Tuesday morning, before the reset. So you kind of got to play a little game about how much gold you can spend and how much gold you will earn, and how much gold you can spend on the weekend and how much gold you can spend right before the reset. And if you can't get on during the reset, then honestly, just farming it on the week or buying stuff on the weekend, selling it early in the week is going to do you pretty good. But obviously, the person who logs on and sells stuff last minute before the server reset is going to be making the most money. That's why I can say there can be only one, because they're going to put it like 1% under you, like 1 copper or whatever, and they're just going to make crazy amounts of money, even though it's only 1 copper cheaper. So again, that's really the gist about everything. I can't give you a live run-through because I'm not going to drop like 20k for no reason. I totally could, and I wouldn't even notice it. I'm being 100% honest. I really wouldn't. But it's just not worth it to me. If you guys need proof of concept, I will let you know. I'll be posting videos throughout Warlords about this. However, this is kind of just a precautionary video to kind of get you used to what we're going to be doing. Now, talking about supply and demand, now that we've talked about supply and demand and when to buy stuff, I want to talk about individual markets, because it's not just one gigantic World of Warcraft auction house market. Each thing has its own market. So we're talking about like gems have their own market, flasks have their own market, herbalism, professions, all that kind of stuff have their own separate markets, mounts and battle pets. Now, the other thing that's really great is that people also want to buy transmog gear, and this is exactly why I hate other gold farming videos, and this is why it's so much superior, because someone's going to go, just like the videos tell you, they go to that spot, farm for an hour, kill like 800 dudes, and eventually you'll get this really awesome heirloom that'll sell, or transmog that'll sell for like 500 gold. Or maybe you'll get a couple of them, or you get this really awesome one that sells for 3,000 gold, and that's how you make your money. Now, these people have a very hard time selling because they're not good at the auction house. They just go on this gold farming video, they've done the work, and they just want to sell it. And then it takes forever to sell, and then someone's going to end up buying it. And it's not because someone ends up wanting it, it's people like me who go out there and like, oh, this item is worth 5k. It's selling for 1. I'm going to buy that and sell it for 6. It's the same thing. You need to know, like, you can go pick up those items and sell them on Tuesday. You can really do it with any market you want, but you really have to be kind of in tune with what's going on. And that's kind of something that's really hard to just teach you. I can tell you what it's about, but I can't really just tell you it 100% guaranteed. So there's a little bit of risk involved, but you'll kind of, once you figure your way through, you're going to find yourself making a lot of money. And honestly, unless you want gold cap, you're not going to be doing it for more than 2 months. You're just going to be doing it for 2 months, you're going to be making ludicrous amounts of money, and then soon you can have 1390s completely bankrolled without even having to do anything about it. So that about wraps it up, and I know it's kind of a vague video today and kind of boring, nothing going on, but I hope it helps you out. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video where I'm going to give you more detailed addendum to this video about how to buy out markets. Peace out, guys.